Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The New Middle East, in which my co-host, Paula, who is in the United Arab Emirates, say hello, Paula.
Hello, everybody. Hi,
And,
Linda.
and I will discuss what you need to know when you're traveling between Israel and the United Arab Emirates in order to do business. What kinds of things do we need to know about the culture, communications? So I wanted to mention something very important, that our prime minister feels that the relations between Israel and the United Arab Emirates are so important right now that he wants us to come up with a special code of conduct for Israelis who are traveling abroad to the United Arab Emirates so that they will behave correctly, so they will know what are the sensitivities there, what are the things I need to know. So Paula, can you tell us, I know that there are a lot of sensitivities, we've been talking about this, we will continue to talk about this, but I understand that a lot of that is around Sharia law there. So can you tell us a little more about that?
And I think it's, first of all, let's not scare everybody. And the common theme, as we keep saying, is research, research, research. So the law in this country, this region, is Sharia law. Sharia law is the only law in the whole world that is directly linked to the religious book, the Quran. So some of it gets mistranslated and it also gets bad press. Do your deep research from really quantifiable places, not what the press say all the time. But essentially, it still is a law that needs to be taken account of. And I think it's not to scare people, and the media and the misperception people get when they say the Middle East is you will rarely see anything quite as bad as that might portray. So first of all, it's not so bad as you think. Like any law, if you do something wrong, things start to change a little bit.
Okay, but I think there's some surprising laws that Israelis wouldn't even think about is the problem, that traveling from place to place that are quite specific to this area.
And I still get caught out now, we all do. The other thing about the UAE is such a dynamic, fast-moving government, and we're only 49 years old. We spoke about that earlier, but
it's even younger than us.
Yes, yeah. Excuse me. Speak to yourself. I wish. So what's happened just last week, is for the first time, certainly in my knowledge, is they refreshed some of the laws of the land. Now that is absolutely inspirational because they realise that some of them are quite maybe a bit old. One of the laws that they've changed, they're all personal laws or about criminal laws. Research, but one of the biggest laws that changed, ironically, right behind the video we spoke about, you can't live with an opposite member of the sex if you're not married.
Right, that was a question. Now you can. Okay, so don't worry, folks, that's taken care of. Maybe every time we bring up a subject, they'll change the law because they listen to us and know how important it is. Maybe that's it.
Yeah. So, and another law that changed is alcohol license. You still need to drink only in hotels and bars that are licensed, and you still don't want to be walking around the streets drunk. But having to have an alcohol license changed. Divorce laws changed. Will making changed. Absolutely revolutionary, and everybody can't believe it. Everybody's like wide-eyed, and hats off. Well done, UAE rulers, because long time coming. So, but that's also another point, not just if we got Sharia law, which is very different to many other countries, it can change overnight.
Do you think even part of these change have to do with opening up more and more to other countries and other nationalities, and the need to have the connections?
Yeah, definitely, we need to just modernize ourselves, and let's not forget, only 18% of the people here are Emiratis, but still, Sharia law, it holds no, and even a lot of people's consulates or government connections here will say, if you break the law, we cannot help you. People tend to think they can come away, get in trouble, and then they're kind of their government entities, I'll call them, will help them out. Well, guess what? They won't. So, case of just knowing, and even when you're here, if you're here working for a week or a couple of weeks, the law can change overnight. So always keep your eye on local press. We have to do it for labour laws and all sorts of things. So yeah, it's not to be scared of it, but it's to understand. And Linda and I, when we were talking offline just now, you know, the analogy we used was, if you're going on holiday to Kenya, you'll do your research about that, won't you? Where you can go, where you can't go, what's safe, would I see a lion in a street? You know, you do your research there, it's no different. So everything's available, just make sure you go to proper sources. You're not the media hype that you see everywhere.
And I said,
But
the
yeah,
interesting thing is when Israelis go abroad, they do a lot of research about where to go, what's the right place, what are the best attractions to visit. So this is just one other aspect that people will
yeah.
have to do doing research, whether you're going for business, for tourism, you know, to find out what are the actual laws and what do I need to be aware of? Because yes, you can really get into trouble, folks, and nobody's going to help you.
And you know, it's one very, very brief story to home that in here. You know, you will, if you fly over on an Emirates government owned, although they will deny it's government owned, don't say that, Emirates airline, they will serve you alcohol. And so, or you could arrive into the UAE, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Ras Al Khaimah, wherever you're going, a little bit tipsy. Yeah, it's common. You want to have one too many on a plane for whatever reason. Now, coming through immigration with a couple too many wines in you is fine. Yeah, they're very tolerant and understanding. When it's not fine, Linda, is when an altercation happens or when something starts to go wrong. Because we've said this before. If that happens and then you start to get a bit aggressive and you've had a few too many wines, everything will become about you're drunk. If you stay quiet and stay under the radar and stay calm, you can have your wines, it's fine.
Cares.
It's how you conduct yourself. So the minute you might get confrontational or aggressive with, you know, an immigration decision or a visa issue, they will put you straight on the alcohol route. Then you're in Sharia law trouble. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You said
yes.
it before, and
Yes, it does.
Jonathan
Right. And the
mentioned
other
it.
thing that we've said is if something happens, please stay calm. Say, I'm sorry. You know, don't try to defend yourself and become aggressive because that's not going to help. Right? That's crucial.
You will never win, for sure.
Okay. Thank you so much, Paula. So we have learned once again, do your research, and sometimes it's into the specific laws in the country to stay safe.
And we look forward to seeing your government's list of how to behave here. It's going to be really interesting.
Well, I think you and I will have to work on that and help them with that. Okay, that's the plan.
Hey.
Okay, and if you guys have other questions about doing business between Israel and the UAE, please be in touch with us. Send in those questions and we'll be happy to answer them. Thank you so much, Paula. See you next time. Bye.